Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I just found out my registration is suspended.
Oh my God. For what?
Hello, hello.
Uh,
How's it going?
apparently
good.
not good anymore, friend.
What's that?
Hey, Felix.
Oh yeah. Mia, do you have the links for the videos, the recordings?
Yes.
Okay, could you put them in the chat?
They're like on Google Drive. Let me see if I can share
okay.
them.
Got it.
They're shared with everyone in the email thread.
Oh wait. Okay. Then do you have the links for the YouTube unlisted things?
No, because they're not published.
Oh, okay. I thought they were published but unlisted.
They might be. I think you can just log into the Solidarity account and look at them. Let me see.
What's the login for the Solidarity account? Or does Mark have that, right?
I'll have to text it to you or email it to you because the meeting's being recorded and I don't want to.
Got it. Yeah. Just text or record it. Or email to me, please.
Okay.
Hmm. Is it now time yet? Oh, I think this is, huh?
I said I guess we'll give everybody a few minutes, right?
I think this is everybody, but
Could be.
we can still.
It's still 31. I think if we wait until 35, we might get a couple more people.
I might keep babbling so I don't fall asleep. I'm going on 13 and a half hours today already, and it's hot outside.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
yeah, Aisha said she can't come. I don't remember if anyone else said they were coming.
Leah said she can't come.
Oh, she
Oh, Leah
can.
didn't say she can't come.
Okay.
Oh,
Here's the first video in chat. The videos, me and Aaron took a look at some of them. They're not really good quality, so just keep that in mind.
So when I click on it, it says video unavailable. This video is private. Is that what it's supposed to be?
It's supposed to let you see it with that link.
Oh, well,
I
you know
think
what?
they might be private rather than unlisted right now.
Okay,
It might also be the account from which I am. Maybe if I try to view it with my other profile.
yeah, I tried with mine. It says this video is private. Sign into YouTube.
Oh, the
Yeah,
last one is
55
unlisted.
inch
The
TLC
first two are
versus-
private, but the last one. Oh, wait, all of them are wait, no, yeah. The
Oh,
first two
okay.
are private. The last one is unlisted.
They should all be unlisted now. I don't know which ones I put in the chat though.
Yeah, so when I log in through my Solidarity Network account, then I can access them.
You should access them with these links now. They're not unlisted or they're not private anymore.
Oh, let me try. Okay, let me try my other one. Wow. Oh, yep, there it is. Look at that. Cool.
Oh, I see Aisha. Ha, Aisha did make it to the meeting.
Yeah, so if you look, you'll see it is a 7-hour long video.
Fuck that.
Yeah. So if you have nothing better to do,
Yeah, maybe in a month I have 7 hours free.
right?
Oh yeah, I could barely hear the audio. The only one I watched was the intro with you, Aaron.
Yeah, me and I looked at this over the weekend and we're like, I think first of all, we both got a little bit overwhelmed. And it was also like, the audio is kind of inaudible for a lot of it. It's not
Yeah,
really
I can't
broken up.
hear any of it.
Yeah, I think what we landed on is like, if there's anybody who really wants us to like kind of go through and give them a specific part, we're happy to do that. It's just preferably we don't want to spend what seems to be like hundreds of hours of work going in and like captioning everything and like trying to salvage and figure out what people said and breaking it up. So I think it should be a note for next time that like this should have some forethought.
For next time, we could try to definitely, that'll come up later, but we could definitely try to get better equipment and have it more prepared and test it out.
Yeah.
And,
Hopefully we won't have to scramble when one organization decides that they're going to be outside the entire time, and so we have to use my laptop.
yeah. Oh, we
So,
got some time for that part though, because, yeah,
Um,
well, we'll get to
I
that.
think one thing we were considering was like having specific people reach out to different organizations to see how they're doing. I think we were mentioning that at the first debrief meeting. Did
Oh,
we
let's-
ever
let's-
assign specific orgs like that? Like it
Let-
might be
can
useful
we-
to have someone
can we-
reach out to Water Coalition who has any connections with them. One
Can we
person reaches
please
out
wait on
to
that? Yoshi, that's gonna
Bridge.
come up. I put the agenda in a specific order because there's something we have to do before we do that.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, I'll stop there.
There is a list out there, an incredibly detailed list of groups with all kinds of information on it. I don't know if anyone started reaching out to new groups yet, but I wanted to have a meeting before we started really aggressively reaching out to new groups, because what are we going to tell them right now? Well, we have this Solidarity Network thing. We don't have meetings anymore. We don't have anything planned. We don't have anything lined up. But would you like to join? I don't know if that's the best pitch. And right now, that's where until
No, that's a fair point. That's always the difficulty of trying to rebuild orgs is not having enough people and not having enough tasks and how to fix which one to fix first.
Ideally, at the end of this call, the answers to that question, some of those answers might be there, but that's why we really needed to have a call, even if there's only 4 of us. It's better than 0 or 1, you know. One of the things I think that's the most important that we really need to look at, like right away, before we could do much of anything else, is do y'all have the agenda? Do I need to find it again?
yeah, I have it here. I can post the link in the chat.
It's very basic.
I put the
but-
agenda in the chat. Yeah, it's pretty
It
straightforward.
looks very good. Yep.
So, like, the 2 things I put in the past, so like what drew people in and what caused people in groups to leave, because we know that people that did join left and other groups may not have wanted to join. I think the easy answer to the first question, from my opinion, is the idea and premise of forming a network of solidarity and mutual aid groups was amazing and appealed to everyone. Just, the basic principle of it. I didn't even know it existed. I found about it. I was on I think a mutual aid meeting and somebody mentioned it. And I was like, oh, I'm free tonight. So I joined it. I love the idea. And I think a lot of people love the idea. Anybody else have anything they think drew people in? I think keeping it open to whoever wanted to come into the meetings could. Like there was no, you have to be in this group or you have to be blah, blah, blah to join the meetings helped. Just incredible openness.
Yeah, I mean, my story is kind of the same as yours. It's just like, there was another meeting probably after a meeting that I had already had before. And I'm like, let me just kind of go to one and like see what it's about. And, the way I am, like I go to a meeting, I'm like, all right, I'm in,
Yeah, I know that about you.
Yeah. So, no, but I think you're right. Like we should be trying to kind of refine our pitch for why organizations and individuals should be joining this organization. And I think like, let's go back to the basics, right? What are we? Yes, we are recording.
Yes, we're recording.
I'm guessing, Yoshi, is that you?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gotta be Yoshi.
Sorry,
JVP.
I don't know why it reverts to JVP Central New Jersey. I changed it for the other meeting.
Mine's been doing that too. It keeps reverting me back to Galaxy AO2S. I think this is the first time in a meeting lately that I didn't do that. Or maybe it did. I don't even know what I've listed as.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, I
Yeah,
was
Sam,
starting,
actually me.
so I was starting to say like, yeah, I think we should kind of refine our pitch for why these organizations and individuals should join the network. You know, what can they get out of it? And I mean, to some extent, like we talked about this at the conference a little bit, especially when we had the kind of main session, right? What are we? What do we do? What can we offer? You know, so I think when we can go to them with that pitch and say, yeah, look, you know, this is why you should join. By the way, you know, I also suspect that there probably is, you know, there was a lot of enthusiasm at the conference, right? The people who were there, they spoke, they were engaged, they were clearly interested. I think what's needed now, frankly, is for someone to let them know that like something is going on. Now, I know we reached out with this email. There's a question of, right, it was kind of an amorphous agenda in terms of what we were actually doing. It's at the same time place basically that we were doing it before. So that's kind of an obstacle, but I think the interest is there. Let's start talking to our partners here.
Now, one thing we really need to discuss is what pushed people away. Right before the conference, we lost a bunch of groups because of the last minute COVID policy. Realistically, for future, that's something we would like, something like a vaccine. The mask part wasn't really a problem because we had masks and it's not really that hard to put on a mask, you know, unless you have some serious breathing problem. But having vaccine requirements cut out a lot of people right away. So that was one thing. We can't make a major decision like that last minute, especially with a very limited group of the participants in planning and a decision that had to be made that night. Yoshi, you're on stock.
I don't find it awfully valuable to be like revisiting like, oh, the vaccine decision was made last minute and then we're going to like we put people off. Like, look, this question wasn't solved by schools, it wasn't solved by government, it wasn't solved by world leaders. Like, I think the whole notion that like we should have like just have a kind of free for all, like I frankly find to be in a way irresponsible in itself. Like I don't what's the way to put this? Like we're not working with some kind of roadmap that says like, in order to, well, I'm just gonna throw it out there, right? In order to get to socialism, we have to do A, B, C, D. Just like, any other institution or any other religion or any other like product roadmap, like you always have these maps. We don't have a map on this thing, and I think it's worth asking like why we don't have a roadmap. Like you'll remember that the Socialist Rifle Association spoke at the conference, and they said like, oh, like it's like, interesting that we have all these organizations here, and like they didn't have input on this idea of the federation, and then Now we're talking about this like federation. It's a fair observation, right? But at the same time, there's also all those other questions that came up. It's like, oh, like why don't we have like more like people of color? Why don't we have more robust like Spanish simultaneous translation capacity? All those kind of things. Okay, sorry. I'll just wrap it up here. I mean, like, I don't find it valuable to be like saying, oh, this is what we did wrong, and like we're gonna turn back the clock and say like we should have said like no vaccine required. That's just highly irresponsible, and we would have lost another group of people if we had said no vaccines.
I understand that, and I'm not talking about revisiting the past, I'm talking about the future. But the other thing that Aaron, you were on Stack?
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, right. So, okay, we know what happened with the conference. We know that due to some last minute decision making, some people were not happy with those decisions and pulled out. We should not assume that just because they pulled out of the initial conference, that they want to pull out of the entire idea of the network, right? We should reach out to them. We should talk to them. We should reach out to all the other organizations that we have on the list. Basically say, here's what we have now. We're going to be sort of planning. And I think from what I understand, the purpose of this meeting is to start thinking about the next thing. Because
I'm going to go because my stress level has gotten too good. So I just want to put this out there. A lot of groups left because of the points of unity, because not every group is going to be anti-capitalist. And I wasn't even allowed to go to the conference because I'm a business owner. And multiple groups did say they pulled out, like NJHRC pulled out in part because of the points of unity. And that's something I think we need to discuss is, do we want to exclude mutual aid groups? Because in my opinion, the conference should have not excluded groups based on certain criteria if they were mutual aid groups, but the points of unity most definitely do. And that was the biggest issue I had and what's holding me from going forward. We can just go with what we've had and just invite all the groups. Somebody can draft up something to say to them, and that's fine. But I'm not sure what our end goal is. If we're going into it being already knowing we're going to exclude groups, I think that's a problem. I do agree with the whole, we didn't have enough people of color in other groups. We didn't know about a lot of groups. Mia did a ton of work to find more groups, and we'll be finding more and more and more people to invite. And I think that's a great thing. But I think we need to be really clear on, are we going to be exclusionary or are we going to be open? How the level of that before we can really go forward. Why are we going to bother to invite a group that won't admit that if a group is the greatest mutual aid group in the world, but the leader is a business owner, they're not welcome at our party. Why are we going to bother inviting them if they're already not welcome? And that, for me, I think was what caused the biggest trouble. I only mentioned the vaccine thing because that's just something we have to, I didn't want to go into that like in big detail. That was just meant to be like a 2-second thing. So I'm going to like shut up now, but I just needed to get that out there, that we really need to refine what the rules are to be one of our friends before we invite our friends. And once we're truly clear and have a finalized what our rules are, then we should invite everyone who fits those rules. That's my pitch. Okay. Yoshi?
I disagree with the whole notion that you can't exclude groups. We exclude groups all the time. The point of unity is we're trying to build something. Big Tent is very wonderful. America is very wonderful. America has 350 million people. I don't want to be with racists. I don't want to be with white supremacists. I don't want to be with liberals who think we could just like muddle our way through and say like let's like tolerate, like no, like um sorry, that's it. Like I challenge the notion that you can't build without excluding. There are plenty of people who call themselves Christian and they're not Christian. Evangelicals call themselves Christian. They're not Christian. We're building something, and other people are building also their stuff. There were some reasons where people didn't join up. We invited them, and they're doing their own thing. And I think that can be like respected as well. You know, like Black Lives Matter Patterson does very important thing. Black Lives Matters Patterson and Palestinian American Community Center are building their community, and like we can respect that. Like we need to ask ourselves, what are we building? We can't be the firefighter all the time. We're not going to get anywhere if we're just putting out fires.
Felix, you're on stack.
Got it. All right. One thing I think is that it doesn't make sense to have. I don't think like we should do away with the concept of exclusions altogether. But Mark's point on not excluding business owners might make sense even if we were to keep in like the anti-capitalist sentiment. Especially if we are to go with like mutual aid is not necessarily, I'd say, strictly a communist thing. It's something that could potentially happen with, like, for example, co-ops and stuff like that assists in the process, and those would technically still count as business owners as well. And I don't think we should remove all exclusions or completely change the points of unity, but it might be useful to reconsider that point as, just in terms of like, I don't know, there are always going to be risks of doing this. Like, what point would we exclude someone of? Does it make sense? Like, how much does it harm an organization's purpose to also allow this? But by this definition, I'm pretty sure this would also exclude a lot more groups than that, as Mark mentioned, that there could be risks. And if we wanted to remove that section alone, I don't think it would harm us in the short term, at least. I don't know about long-term consequences, but I think it might make sense for short-term improvement, like of removing that exclusion, just that exclusion.
So I think that the points of unity could probably use some revisitation, in terms of like what they are. I agree. Not all of them make sense. I also agree that we do need some bounds of exclusion, right? I mean, if the Proud Boys start calling themselves a mutual aid group, they're not invited, nevertheless. So I think what it kind of gets to, though, is I think that's a decision that ought to be made democratically, in asserting, who we are, what we do. The problem is, who do we include in that democracy? And I think, frankly, we start off with the people who are already here, who we've already kind of cleared as part of the conference. So maybe what our next step could be is say, okay, here are the people that are already part of the network. We like you. We're friends. We're happy to have you. Let's kind of negotiate some of these points of unity. And based on that, maybe we can sort of look at some of the other organizations. And I'm not saying this is the only way, but maybe we can sort of decide which ones we feel like would be part of our mission, and maybe which ones not so much. And then from there, we could kind of start to kind of invite them and grow from there. It's hard because on the one hand, we need to grow to be able to make these democratic decisions, and we want everybody who's part of the network to be part of making them. But just to decide who is part of the network to begin with requires some form of exclusion, some kind of vetting. It's not easy. Hey, Mia, do you have any thought on it? I want to ask you specifically, I mean, because, right now, so far, we're 4 DSA guys, all from the same organization, kind of going back and forth a little bit. Maybe you have a different perspective. If you don't, that's okay, obviously, but
I think everyone should be included in the network by default, unless people specifically opt out. The only issue I see with including people that were at the conference is those people aren't here right now, even though sending out multiple emails to multiple groups, letting them know. And I've already started outreaching other groups. I've attended meetings from other groups to kind of start networking with them and building the connection. The issue that I think we're going to run into is we don't have regular meetings. It took 2 months after the conference to even get this going. And that's gonna be our biggest barrier is we need to have some kind of uniform meeting structure where people can depend on us. Because without that, we're really nothing. We can't just exchange group messages and call ourselves a group if we're not actually meeting and doing anything. I know personally, I've put in a lot of work. It took weeks building the list of every group in New Jersey and outreaching and finding all their information and emailing people and waiting for responses. So for the longest time, personally, I felt like I was doing a lot of the work alone after the conference, organizing everything and putting everything together. And I still log into the website daily and I do work on it. I still do work on our cloud. I'm still building things and we just don't have the regular meetings where people can give me input. I can't make decisions on my own for a group, especially when it comes to, say, for example, paying for things. I've been paying for the cloud computing and people have contributed to it, but I shouldn't have to make that choice myself. I should have input on what should be spent for. Even for example, migrating to a new email list provider where we could send emails in bulk. No one gave me input on that, and no one even answers the emails in the threads anymore. So I love the initiative from everyone about all of this tonight, but my main question is, where was this initiative the past 2 months when people were reaching out trying to get things done and no one was responding to anything?
Felix, you're on stack.
I think that is a fair point that we didn't do enough assistance with you, but also overloading the work to one person is always a bad idea. Not having regular meetings, even if we don't have specific tasks, it was probably a mistake to not keep up the regular meetings to figure out what our next task would be. Because if the idea was when we have another event plan, we will have regular meetings again. But how are we going to have another event plan if we don't have the regular meetings? And it's always that cycle of the administrative work and the logistic stuff of having the meetings and stuff and coordination, the membership, and then activities. And we didn't have 2, 3, and we could control one, which was the meetings and consistent schedule events, but we kind of let that one drop off too. That was our bad for that. I think that the next task of how we would fix things now would be starting off with regular meetings again with whoever we have, even if it's just us, trying to reach out again to start, and then making sure we have some idea of what our next event would look like. Just something maybe with low preparation work, like an in-person picnic or park cleanup, or something assisting with our park cleanup, something like that, and making some concessions to groups that exist right now. Maybe instead of doing our own event, some new event of ourselves, we would all collectively agree to assist with an existing park cleanup. And that would help us build the connections again, help us, I guess, with the concessions. Maybe we could do it in a location that's farther away from the previous location we did it, make some concessions there, maybe a park cleanup closer to Newark. It would take us less resources in terms of time to prepare because it will be existing partner, but it would still be a concession in terms of us like willing to do the transportation work to there instead of them going to us. And then something like that could help us rebuild the membership. And the first step is like, okay, so first step is making sure we have regular meetings, assisting Mia with the work currently. Next step is having the activity, and then we can worry. In the entire process, having membership. I think that's one approach we could take. Any thoughts on that?
Right away, first thing that comes to mind is, I know Mia's been working on this constantly because I've been constantly in touch with her since we never stopped work. I haven't done as much physical work, but we've never stopped working on this, but so many people did. So on the fact that after, what is it now, July 21st, we're having our second meeting after the conference. We might have to assume that we are the only 5 people left. I guess Aisha's still involved, Leah, they couldn't make it. So again, to that important point of having regular meetings, who is willing to commit to having regular meetings? How many people do we need? Because I would have kept coming to every Thursday night meeting. Since then, I've been like, not even know what to do with myself on Thursday nights now. Like, and so how do we go about, even without step one, there really is no further steps. We have to figure out a way with just the 5 of us to actually be able to do a regular style meeting, me included the list of groups in there, which is incredibly detailed. So, I mean, what do we do? How do we do that? Do we just have meetings with the 5 of us and keep inviting people? And if no one shows up, we just make the plans? Or do we wait for other people to come, which I thought was going to be the original plan, but months later, I'm starting to think there aren't people coming. Do we reach out to everyone now and say, we're doing this and you can come if you want? That was kind of, I think, a good idea of having it at the same time as we used to have it, because it's like, this was already the time that we were I'll get to you one second, Aaron. But like, so if we get nothing else out of this meeting, just being able to go forward, knowing we're going to keep meeting would be enough. What was that? I'm not sure. Okay, Aaron, what was your stack? Or I'll get to you next.
Yeah, so I agree. And I don't think that we can just kind of wait for people to come when there's nothing going on. So, I say we continue. It seems like Thursday night might work for people. I'm open to suggestions otherwise, but I think let's keep having regular meetings, plan towards something, keep inviting people, and, it'll build. Look, we built it once, right? And there were a lot more groups that were represented before the conference. And some people came in late. I mean, I came in fairly late. I just think the biggest problem is we had the conference and we let all that all that momentum kind of just die down. Except for a few people like Mia, who and thankfully, and I'm really grateful. Has done so much work to kind of keep this going. Let's not let that happen again. Let's keep having meetings. Let's meet next Thursday. Let's put it on the calendar. Hopefully Leah can come. Hopefully Aisha can come. Hopefully some people who we're not even thinking of right now can come.
I'll second that. Let's vote. Are we going to meet next Thursday?
I'm up.
Generating the link right now. Okay.
Thursdays is always kind of busy.
I thought it was a sore point that CNJ DSA
No, I
was overrepresented. Like
I was gonna get to that next, Yoshi, because there's more to say about that too.
I mean, it would seem to make more sense that if like maybe 1 or 2 maximum representative of any one group attends these meetings, and it also kind of like conserves capacity for all the groups.
Well, let's see. If we took away everyone from Central New Jersey DSA right now, it would be Mia and one other person, 2 other people.
I think Mark could probably represent 4 people.
I'm
maybe.
representing NJ.
We could cross
I'm
that bridge.
representing NJPPC. Yes. So I agree that NJ Central Jersey DSA was overrepresented, and a lot of other people complained about that. But right now, I think whoever's willing to come should come.
Yeah.
If we all of a sudden have a meeting and there's 37 people on and 32 of them are from Central Jersey DSA, we might want to back that down a bit.
I think
But
one
right
thing we
now,
consider is
go ahead.
one thing we consider is once we have enough people, we can be willing to accept whatever concessions, like, or each organization only gets one vote. If they want to go with that, let's go with it. We'll accept it. We just need more people. That's the most important thing. If they want, like, if we really need to do that, then we'll go for it. But right now, we just we need as many people here working. Like, if we had
Right.
like the workload on 2 people, and then like having one person at the meeting contact 3 other people, like the rest 3 of us, that would be even more hassle and work. I don't think it would really benefit. Like, we need to address the concern of like one group overpowering things. I don't think we can consider, like, I don't know if what the concern exactly was, but we can figure it out once we can contact people and figure out what their concerns were. Because we should probably not assume what their concerns are at this point in time. We'll keep working as we are, connect with people, and then ask them, what were your concerns with this? Like the way I got from Mutual Morris,
Once we have people to ask.
I asked Mutual Morris when I didn't ask explicitly. I checked with Mutual Morris when I attended their meeting. And the thing they were going with was like a consensus based go with the next 20 weeks, just go for it. A consensus based model, which makes sense, but that each group gets 1 vote in effect. And I think that was a bit unusual, because it was like, it made sense. Like, the consensus based thing makes sense. Like, even if you have like a bunch of different orgs, you want to make sure you have not just 51%. You want to make sure as many people as possible will agree. But I think the other thing was like trying to get like, how does that work if, like, for example, people are parts of multiple groups? Or how does that work if, is it necessarily fair for us to have like whatever? It doesn't matter too much. But I think I do agree with the idea of making it more consensus based rather than making it these kind of like 51-49% decisions that causes a lot of controversy and it splits people down the line. If we can avoid those, that would be healthy for a long-term safety of the network if we build it up again. But we still need to get to that point of building it again. And if we only have 2 people on these meetings, we're never going to get there. It's going to be one person with the task of both contacting new orgs, but also relaying the information to 3 other people who are interested. And then everyone else like sitting outside, like in the waiting room of the org, like listening. I don't think that makes sense right now.
Let me just say one thing and then I'll get to you, Mia. The other concern is, say we have to make a decision by tomorrow. If Central Jersey DSA gets 1 vote, we take a week to vote. So the decision's already been made. So the idea that is a possibility of 1 group, 1 vote, but we need to come up with a system also for where vote needs to be made tonight. And that's simply not possible. Like in that Mutual Morris thing, the ultimate like saying at the end was, it's always possible to have a consensus, but it's not always possible. It's not always possible to have a lot of time to make a decision. So there needs to be contingency for that. All right, Mia?
I think we should invest in Lumio.
What is Lumio?
Lumio is a platform where you can put out notions and have people vote even when they don't, when they can't attend a meeting. Basically, you'll put what's being voted about. It's $20 a month for up to 100 people. I think that's going to suffice for us. So that would allow people to vote, watch the meeting, because our meetings aren't going to be that long. They're what, 1.5 hours, 2 hours. We can set that for 3 or 4 days after the notion is proposed, the deadline for a vote. But if we're talking about all of this, we really need to come up with bylaws and not just points of unity for how we're going to operate. And I know there was a lot of talk about not becoming an official group, but we literally are a group. We have to recognize that and kind of work with that. But I think just like the democratic process, we have to be equal and everyone gets a vote. It doesn't matter per group or whatnot, because if we do the per group, not everyone meets regularly. We're going to have to wait for people to get back to their groups. And by the time that happens, that could take weeks to actually hear feedback from groups about things. That's why a lot of the stuff is set up right now, like the points of unity feedback. It's set up as a forum where people can just put what they want to say about it and not even have to worry about coming to the meeting. it gives that option to still be included even when you're not there. And that's our most important thing that we have to worry about doing, because just like voting in America, everyone can vote except certain groups. And we all know what those groups are and how unfair the voting process is, but we have to keep it just like that, I think, in my opinion, because it gives the most fair chance to actually having something done.
Going off from what Mia was just saying, I'm sorry, Mia, were you finished?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay.
You're next on stack anyway, Aaron.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure she was finished first.
Yeah, that's why I waited.
Yeah, so kind of going off of that, I just want to throw this out there as a question, and I don't have a preconceived answer to it. Is it necessary for us to be part of this group, this network, as members of our respective organizations? Or can we simply say, hi, I'm Aaron, I'm with the New Jersey, the Solidarity Network NJ. Hi, I'm Mia, hi, I'm Mark, hi, I'm Felix, hi, I'm Yoshi,
That's a good question, because are we here as people from organizations all coming under one umbrella, or is NJ Solidarity Network now its own organization that has members that are parts of other organizations? That actually makes a big difference. I don't have an answer, but that is a good point. Can you just not be in a mutual aid group of any kind? Be like, I'm Mark, I do cleanups, I want to be here. So Mia says, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Like,
I think that removes some of the organizational difficulties of one group overpowering the rest. I mean, yes, de facto, it means that we may have more members who are also part of DSA. We may have more members who are part of another group. Fine, that's always going to happen to some extent or another. But at least it won't feel to everybody like there's an organization that is like controlling it all. I don't know.
That's, I think, what people felt is like DSA was controlling it all. But I voted against everybody from Elta DSA in certain instances. So I don't know that that necessarily was true, but that is a feeling that people had. We'll come back to that.
I think Felix was on stack
Yeah.
next, right?
I just wanted to make sure you were done. Felix?
Okay. I think that could work if we were inviting orgs. Like, we could invite orgs and have like their members join individually. Like, we could reach out to an org and ask, are there members in your org that would be interested? If you'd like to, we can partner with us. And then if we need workshops done, then we would reach out to the org as a matter of practicality. But then people who are presenting would present themselves as like just members of the Solidarity Network, like NJ. Like, if they wanted to, other people from different orgs could also work with them on the project. For example, if we were going to ask, I don't know, like say Cosecha was going to talk about worker center organizing, and other people could join it, like maybe someone from Lazos or someone from Within the Spirit, and it could be just like a project of worker center organizing and not really a Cosecha project. It would be a Solidarity Network NJ project. But in the practice, we would still be reaching out to specific orgs to start. I think that could work. It might work. It would be a bit complex, but it might be a best way for going for it. Okay, I'm done now.
Reaching out to the orgs makes sense because that's where you find the people. But in the case where someone else, like I know someone, the former pastor of the South River Reformed Church was interested, no longer a part of the South River Church, but like, could we invite her to the meetings? Like she does mutual aid on her own. So that's something to get to. I put myself on stack, and there's a whole bunch of follow-ups here. So I will get to as much of this as possible, as quick as possible. I wanted to say one thing, that as a Star Trek fan, there's the United Federation of Planets. And in the Civil War, we had the Confederation, the Confederate Army. There was a lot of talk about, are we a federation or a confederation? It may have been Mia, I could be wrong. We just said, why don't we just call it NJ Solidarity Network and not make it a federation or a confederation or some kind of crazy label? Because some of those will draw people in, some of those will push people away. And in my opinion, just calling it NJ Solidarity Network or Solidarity Network NJ is the best option. The least exclusive and the most open. That's my say. And Mia said, when I address myself, I say I'm a member of SNNJ when reaching out to people, and it works, which I think is good. Felix said actually added something that makes sense and stack. Were you stacked again, Felix?
Oh, I think that was my first stack. I think Mia's after me now.
Okay, Mia,
So right now I say we take what's with us and vote on a few things that we need to get done for the next meeting. Going forward, move to Lumio, so we need a volunteer that's willing to pay the $20 for that, or we need to really consider becoming a group and starting fundraising to start paying for things that we need. So the first thing is, sorry, I was writing this down and I didn't write it down. I typed it somewhere. Let me just go back up. Calling ourselves a network or confederation, I want to propose that we call ourselves a network, a mutual aid network. So if we can get yays or nays in chat just to keep that and then keep the count for what we were doing. So I'll put mine in chat too.
yeah, we jumped the gun on seconding Felix.
Is that everyone? 1,
Um,
2, 3, 4. We still need Yoshi.
Yoshi, what are your positions on network vs confederation?
Sorry, what was the question?
The question, network vs confederation.
just calling ourselves a network rather than a federation or a confederation or some other label. Just keeping it as a network. That's what we're voting on.
So you need my vote?
Yeah, yay, nay, or abstain.
Like we're picking federation, confederation, or network?
No, the question is should we just call ourselves, or no, we should just call ourselves Solidarity Network or a network rather than adding on federation or confederation or some other name, just keeping it as Solidarity Network.
I mean, it's fine with me. I don't have a strong opinion about the federation, confederation. That's like some
You can
But
abstain, we're
weird.
just waiting on your vote.
you put
bureaucracy thing. Like I don't even know what that stuff entails.
Can you just put it in chat so it's recorded for the recording?
Yoshi, if you want to have more discussion on it, we can. You know, if you're not ready to make a vote, it's up to you.
Okay, so the yays have it. We are
Okay.
a network. So now we know who we are.
Woohoo.
Great. Next thing,
Yeah, actually, a lot of we lifted off right there. Okay.
next thing is getting someone to volunteer to pay for Lumio so we can open up the democratic process to everyone.
So, you know, what we could do, I'm sorry, Felix, is it okay if I answer the question?
May I ask something quickly first? Is like,
Oh, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Like, what are the specifics of Lumio? Is there a reason we would use Lumio over just like, for example, the Talk NJ Solidarity? We could use polls inside of there. Is there a reason we need to have Lumio? Like, does it send regular messages whenever there is a poll? Like, that might be an advantage, and we could tie it to the Rocket Chat. Or is
So-
there? Okay, good.
Sorry, Lumio is literally just like you're going to the polls and voting. It notifies everyone on the list of a vote. It lets open up the discussion for people. It allows anonymous votes. You can time when the vote is due by, and it's all automated, and it keeps a record of everything so people can go back and just view the history of all of the votes.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess that is there seems to be some good features that would put it above like using Slack voting or Discord voting or Rocket Chat voting. I was just worried also that like having another app might annoy people, like having another app to consider. But if it's that well integrated and if it works like notification wise like that, it will probably be fine. No more thoughts for now.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just a website you can go to and do it.
So I think we're going to want, you know, at some point, we're going to want some more fundraising.
Yes.
At some point in the future, we could consider an issue. We could consider possibly having due waivers, of course, for anybody who, you know, for now, I would say, you know, I can sponsor for the, you know, for the month. And then maybe next month we revisit, like either I can sponsor it again or somebody else can. And That way we
I'll
can sort of keep it going. But I can,
I can sponsor it for next month.
okay. All
So
right, so
for
I'll-
now, the first 2 months we'll worry about later.
okay. Mia, since you're setting that up, can I just like send you $20?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay,
I can send you as well. then.
I'll do that right now before I forget.
Okay, I'm gonna stack myself. Mia, since you've paid for everything already, can you itemize that just into a spreadsheet? Just make a list of, whatever you paid for and how much it was since day one of Solidarity Network, broken down maybe by month, like anything you paid in whenever you started, like May or June or July, so we can have a record of it. And then we could work a spreadsheet with the monthly bills, which will change over time as we add more and more, and then who agreed to pay it, just to keep track and make sure. I have no problem paying. Right now, I just spent $450 to fix my car, so I'm broke as crap. So I can't give money now, but in the future, I have no problem contributing money. And even if just a few of us do it, to start with, it would keep the costs low enough where it wouldn't be a hindrance on anybody until we start getting able to fundraise and maybe potentially having dues, but that's down the line. So if we could just have like a, just to basically know what we've spent and who spent what and who's donated money, and so we could sort of keep track and make it as level as possible. And obviously, if someone can't send money, I mean, like I don't join any group that has a fee, but DSA has the dues waiver, which is the only reason I joined. I've been working with Jewish Choice for Peace for years actively, and I will never be a member because
Yes.
it's a capitalist organization.
Yeah, so me and Aaron tried creating that. It's in its minimal states right now.
Yes, I saw it. Just
So-
update that and I'll work with it.
If anyone can help design this form, because the only issue that is we don't know how much we're gonna spend in cloud computing until the month is over. Because it's per hour billing. And the servers are set to scale up and scale down up to a certain budget.
Okay.
For them not to exceed it. So yeah, and I think Lumio gives us 14 days trial, so I'll do the trial. I'll immediately upgrade it to the paid plan. I will make sure everything we're discussing in here is put in there. Going forward, next meeting, we'll switch to using Lumio for voting in real time. Or after the meetings. But yeah, I can get that spreadsheet kind of itemized. I do have last month's right now. Our current usage is $17 for this month. When I checked
But-
it yesterday.
By this month, does that mean from the 1st through the 17th, or is it
Every
'Cause I-
30-day rolling period is a new month considered for cloud computing. So even if the month has 31 days, it's every 30 days automatically.
okay? So whatever date you started, that and like 30 days, that would be one bill due, and then the next 30 days would be one bill due.
Yeah, so our average cost is $25 to $35 a month. I do know that based off of the budget.
Okay. Send me whatever you have and how it works, and I can make a spreadsheet that all we have to do is throw in like months or, an interactive spreadsheet that'll keep track of everything. All people would have to do is just send me the numbers and I could put them in a spreadsheet and make it work. But I need to know what exactly how that works. We can work on that after the meeting too, like continue up with that. And then, we could just notify members, this is what our bills were this month. Can you contribute? Or, we could figure out a way. Right now, there's only 5 of us on the call.
Next thing I
Um,
want to propose is if no one else is on Stack, right?
Oh, wait, should we vote on Lumio officially? Before we move
Um,
on?
Yeah, let's
That's gonna pass since I just sent Mia money for it.
All right.
I'll send it
Well,
back if
that's
it
not
doesn't
our-
pass.
No, that's not our fault, Aaron. You jumped the gun.
That is true. I thought it was a democratic process.
Let's do this really democratically so no one can complain. So,
Going-
Mia proposed that we should use Lumio. I'll second that. And now we vote with yays or nays or abstains.
One second, let me, before we do that, so the chat's recorded.
Yeah, I'm also putting a note of it into the
You can
agenda.
record the chats?
Yeah,
Oh,
I did
shit.
not know that. That would have changed so much about so many meetings for me.
You know, I sort of thought everything I said in there was gonna go away, so that might be kind of incriminating.
Oh, I totally vented. I'm gonna get yelled at like crazy.
oh no, so your chats, I can remove them from the recording. The private chats that you send to each other are not included in the recording. I can't even see them. But the chats in the open forum are oh, that was a gunshot.
What do we use for
Just move
like
out of
the
Newark.
like whatever the Secret Service does to make their messages disappear? Sorry, topical.
Yay, yay, yay. Oh, damn. Is that an official vote? Oh, damn. Oh, no, that was for the gunshot. Yay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All in favor?
I don't see.
Did we get one from, we
I
didn't
think
get one
Felix
from
voted
Yoshi?
twice. Yeah, Felix voted twice.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, the vote,
remove one. Yoshi, what are your thoughts on, are you okay with us using Lumio?
I feel like I don't have an opinion. Like this is
You can abstain.
this is an expense thing, and I thought that there was a particularly contentious slew of questions about expenses.
Well, so for now, Yoshi, what we're doing as far as Lumio goes, at least for the moment, is just people volunteering to sponsor it. So I'm sponsoring the first month if we vote to do it. Felix has agreed to use.
It has a 14-day free trial and 2 months of it have already been agreed to be sponsored. And anything we vote yay on, we could always revisit later if we don't like something and put up a new vote to get rid of it. So it's not critical saying yes or no right now, but if you don't want to vote, just say abstain. So we have a recording of who didn't vote. We could discuss it more. That's fine too. Anyone?
Yep. I think we're just waiting for Yoshi, yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, you need me to vote?
Yeah.
Yes, or abstain.
You could say yay, nay, abstain, or we could discuss it more.
I don't know what my choice is. Like I said, like there was a slew of like contentious questions about like expenses, like spending items.
I think right now we're just voting on the one in particular. We're not, as far as I know, addressing any of the others at the moment.
yeah, I'm covering the cloud computing myself. If people want to contribute to it, I've opened up my Venmo for that. But right now we're just voting on Lumio so we can have a democratic process for voting that's organized. And if we want to revisit this at the end of the meeting, we definitely can. Just to give some time to think about it, and we can bring up other points that we have to work on.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have
we'll-
four votes and a pending from Yoshi at the moment, and we'll table that till the end. Or till later. Is that what we're agreeing on?
Mhm.
Okay. Mia, what was the next thing?
We have to discuss how we're gonna communicate. Did we already do all the agenda items as well?
The agenda items were very loosely put together. Where the hell did my agenda go? Oh, there's all the notes in there now.
Yeah, sorry, I started
Um,
filling it in a bit.
we are sort of bouncing around in them. I did it in 4 parts. Part 4, the long range future. Continue adding groups, reaching out to groups. A lot of that was already covered. I don't think we need to touch on the 2023 conference. So because of the way we're doing it, we've been bouncing back and forth in the agenda and covering all of it. I think the present stuff, which includes the website for Solidarity Network, the Rocket Chat, we already covered the growing list of groups. So those were the 2 things that would be next on the agenda that we haven't discussed too much yet. We discussed some about the cost of the website, but the website and the Rocket Chat.
Yeah, so we have to discuss how we're gonna communicate moving forward. We have to think about security, just in the nature of what we do in mutual aid work. And right now we are communicating through an email thread, which seems like it's working for a few people, but we have to really consider a more secure approach to communicating.
Can I throw out Signal as a possibility?
Yeah, Signal is a possibility. We use that for planning in the logistics committee.
We also use that for the outreach, I think.
Yeah.
The
Well, that's-
there's
sorry.
2 disadvantages to Signal. One is that it doesn't have different channels. And 2 is that when we did use it, no one used it. Like there were 2 of us, maybe 3 of us that were using it. So ideally we would have a Solidarity Network NJ thing with different channels in it for different groups, for different purposes, for different reasons, like we do in Discord with DSA, and Slack has that. I like Signal, but I don't know if what the limitations would be.
That's
So-
why we came up with the talk platform Rocket Chat, because it has different channels and people can create their own channels, people can direct message people, and it's encrypted end to end and it's on our own server as opposed to another server.
Why don't we keep Rocket Chat, but encourage more people to use it in the email thread? Because the email thread is really, I think it might be a part of the reason why people have difficulty catching up. I think the Rocket Chat, people don't use it as much, but it would still might be a better idea than email thread.
Okay, and also I want to see how we feel about having a weekly digest email sent out to just the members that are organizers. I already have a lot on my plate right now. If anyone can volunteer to like do like a weekly digest of like just what was discussed in Rocket Chat and what was discussed at the meetings, and that we can just send out as like a quick blurb for everyone to read and just refresh everyone before the next meeting.
I can do that then.
Okay. I'm gonna give you the password for the MailChimp account and we can start building the email list.
Okay,
And-
send it through me through Rocket Chat, because I'll be checking Rocket Chat more as well.
Okay.
I looked at the Rocket Chat while Mia was making it, and it seemed like a really good thing. No one
Yeah.
was using it, so if we start using it, that would be good.
Yeah.
One disadvantage of using Rocket Chat is that people already have chats and they don't want to add any more chats. Like I have Band, Slack, Signal, Discord, and Rocket Chat. So we may not get people, but that's the same thing that's going to happen if we use any other one or if we use
Yeah.
email. So if we're going to pick one, then I'm fine with that being the one, my personal opinion. Should we vote on that?
We already voted on that a few months ago.
Did we?
Yeah, that's why we came up with Rocket Chat.
Okay.
Then Rocket Chat it is.
So I strongly encourage the 4 of you on this call, but I know myself and Mia are on there.
I've been bad. I'm gonna get active on it.
To
Sorry.
at least, get on there and introduce yourselves. I know I have problems with Slack doesn't notify me when emails come, and then I'll check it, and then the notifications will come up after I've checked it. So, I don't know how Rocket Chat is with that, but I check all my chats all the time. So it's not a problem for me, but so yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. So we already voted on that. No vote needed.
Next thing that I want to bring up is I host a monthly, I think the next one's on the 3rd. Yeah. I host a monthly tech discussion about mutual aid. we had one. It was actually really cool. We discussed a lot, especially about online security and like what to do and stuff. Does anyone want to volunteer to do like meetings for anything that you're passionate about to talk about with other people where we can start building the list for that for people to sign up and do something?
I like the idea. I'd have to think about it for myself. So let me
Yeah,
get
but-
back to you about that next meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Same,
totally.
same thing he said. Let me think about that, because there might be some things, especially working with like PPC and these groups that are like all encompassing. I might actually have some ideas, and it might even be able to be a good way to get more people involved. Oh, can I stack myself from like 20 minutes ago? Somebody mentioned cleanups as a social event. I just want to do this real quick before I forget. I was supposed to be part of my stack before. I applied for this thing called the Park Partners Grant in Highland Park. It's a $2,000 grant, and I won it for doing cleanups in town. I mean, I could flex that. I don't know if I could really do one in Newark realistically, but if we want to do something like a cleanup as a social event, maybe like a cleanup followed by a picnic, will have tons of supplies for cleanups, gloves, garbage bags, grabbers, and I can use some of the money to purchase food as well, food and snacks. So just to put that out there before I forget. But okay, continue. I like snacks. Uh-oh. Me too.
Is that everything we have to discuss? Because we did quite a few things.
So we did not actually vote on whether or not we were gonna have, like continue the same time, like have a meeting next week, basically. And continue.
Okay.
Oh no, we didn't formally vote on it, but there's already one scheduled. But yes, let's do if we want to do a formal vote.
Before we vote, let me just put,
We're being very democratic tonight.
And Mia got us back on track. We were kind of floundering.
Yes, yes. Mia has definitely done a whole lot.
Thank you, Mia. Democracy will prevail. Reason will prevail
Within reason, that
within reason.
is.
Mia,
Okay,
later on,
so-
can you help me get the Rocket Chat on my phone? Because
Yeah.
I want it on my phone. Because if it's like on the website, I'm never gonna like go to the website.
if you go to the website, there's a link for the Android and the iPhone app.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah, on the homepage.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard. I don't remember how I did it, but Mia helped me with that too.
Okay.
All right, so are we formally voting on at least for next week? So do we want to vote on next week? We're going to have a meeting Thursday at 8:30, or do we want to vote on until further notice going forward? We're having meetings on Thursday nights at 8:30. Again, everything has the possibility of being revisited at a future date. But for now, what are we voting on?
I thought
I
we were
guess-
voting.
Yeah, Thursday meetings.
Yeah, that pretty much will almost always work with me. Because Wednesdays, almost every other day I have stuff. Yay. Okay, so this is my fourth meeting today. Oh, you had a quiet day. This is my fourth meeting in the last 3 hours, 4 hours. I had two earlier. All right, so it's proposed meeting on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. going forward. I will second that. Now we shall vote yay, nay, or abstain. Or more discussion.
Yoshi, does this time work for you next time?
I mean, it works for me, but I don't think it's up to me.
Got it. All right.
I mean, the worst that can happen is you have the meeting and it's just us.
Right.
Yeah. definitely.
Well, worst case is we don't have a meeting and there's no
Yeah.
one. So
let's for this vote, it's just going to be next week. Let's send out a when to meet no matter what on the Rocket chat and then also on the email thread that we have today. And try to
Okay.
figure out. But for now, this vote is just going to be for the next week. Then.
And down the road.
1, 2, 3. I count 3 votes.
Wait a minute. Does anybody want to change the vote since we changed what we were
Oh,
actually
me.
voting on? Oh, well.
No. All right. So 1,
That's gonna
2,
be
3, 4.
I feel like this kind of contradicts us saying having regular meetings. Like we're just voting for the next meeting.
I think that we should vote
Huh?
for regular meetings and then also vote what our next meeting will be. But no matter what the when to meet, like if we don't get enough responses for the when to meet, we'll continue having it.
Okay. Let's
Just-
make
we
this
can ch-
easier since it's 9:40 at night. We're going to restart this vote. We are now voting on, the proposal is to have a meeting next Thursday at 8:30.
Yeah.
Does someone second?
Second.
Second.
Yeah. Okay, and then a
then-
vote. We
okay.
will have weekly meetings.
No,
Vote-
wait,
okay.
one at a time. I'm doing this for a reason. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Felix voting yay for
I vote- Oh, sorry.
Okay. So I think, okay, so next week, 8:30, we're good.
Everybody vote?
We've already agreed, I think, to have regular meetings. I don't know if we need to vote. Does anyone think we need to vote on just the concept of having regular meetings?
No, because we did already vote that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, would we like to vote on having the meeting as of now, every Thursday at 8:30? Or would we like to wait on that?
I think I like what Felix was talking about. I think let's just do the next meeting and then we already voted to meet regularly every week, so we can change it if it needs to be changed. Because some people may not be able to make that Thursday meeting, so maybe the next week after that, for example, we do it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And then, yeah, we can go forward with that.
Okay. So next Thursday, we'll have a meeting, and at next Thursday's meeting, we'll discuss. We are gonna have future meetings weekly, but we'll discuss when we're gonna have them, or what flexibility. We can discuss, hopefully we'll have more people on too.
Okay.
Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Let me scroll through the chat.
Is it fine if I send out email looking like this? Our next meeting will be Thursday, 8:30, but we aren't sure what time would work for people after. Sending out when to meet for 31st to the 6th. Does that work?
Yeah, I think that works.
I'm just gonna send it as an email. This isn't necessarily something to vote on, but
I'm just gonna put a note on a when to meet thing, or a let us meet, or one of those. I could tell you at 8:58 in the morning, my free time for that day, but by 9:01, it may not be free anymore. Best I can do is block out times where I know I can't meet.
got it. All right.
If it's in my calendar, then I'm good. But until something's in my calendar, it's open, because just that's the way my life is. But I can black out times for sure. Like every Monday as Aaron and Felix know, every Monday from 7:30 to 8:30, I can't meet. You know, like that's an easy one. Every Wednesday from 5 to 6, I can't meet. The rest of them are weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. I mean, varying. Okay. Any other new business? As far as the growing list of groups, if people know of more groups, that's a growing list. So that's a lifetime work in progress. So there is no finishing that. I heard about another group through somewhere else today. I don't even remember what they were called, but there will be more probably. Let's not start talking about the 2023 solidarity. The only other thing on there was, well, we did kind of talk about possible social events. I want to make the suggestion that we probably don't want to do anything in the summer. We don't have to vote on this or not, but while it's because it's already almost the end of July and we're in a heat wave in August and a lot of people are away in the summer and the students aren't around, I would propose we wait and try to do something in like September, October, maybe mid-September. That would just be my initial thoughts. But we don't even have to discuss that tonight, since again, there's only 5 of us
Yeah.
in terms of what and where. But just to put the idea out there because it's on the
Mm.
agenda.
We could do like informal invitations using the top rocket chat, and start working off of there. Like if we have like anyone want to attend this or that, and then see if that can work. I should also reply to there was someone who suggested some event and sign up. I'm gonna read through it again and see if there's anything we can do to linking up with that person.
Well, we could do that. Yeah, we could, for right now, if other groups have events, start going to their
Yeah,
events.
start going to events in the time.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna do.
And then-
Informal just outreach and stuff.
Yeah, and informal outreach and attending other groups' events. That works great. I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
make a second list of the list of groups. I'll send that out tomorrow. Where you can claim which group you wanna reach out to. It's just gonna be super simple. Just put your name. If you need a Solidarity Network email, where it's your name at solidaritynetworknj.com, just let me know. I'll make you an account. I can create like 2,000 of those.
Yeah, that would probably be good because my email's lostfish222 and people would probably ignore that.
Yeah, so if you
I'll-
want
I'll-
one of those, just let me
I've-
know.
To follow up with you on some things tomorrow too, so I'll try to make sure I get that in there. But yeah, that's good because we could do makes it much more formal. And now that we're official, sweet beans. All right,
Before we end, we just have to finish the vote on Lumio.
right,
Yes.
so. Yoshi. We're waiting on you for that vote.
Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get myself set up on the Rocket on my phone, which I did not have. So, okay.
The proposal was, should we use Lumio for polling? Because it can be done in real time and messages are sent out and it makes life much easier. It does incur a cost, but there's a 14-day free trial and the first 2 months of it have already been agreed to be paid for.
So like, why do you need my vote though? Like,
Because you're
we
here.
have 5 people, you have 4 people. And
Yeah, I don't know.
4
I don't know how that works.
I mean, you can abstain, but
But if you don't formally
mean,
type, I guess if you
I just don't have an opinion on this. Like,
so abstain.
voting is fine with or without Lumio. I
Well-
definitely see the technology angle makes it like, convenient for people to vote. But again, like I said, like the 5 people here and 4 people have voted. Like, why?
We have
is it
consensus.
that I vote?
if two,
Yeah, like I mean, I
if
don't.
3
I
people
don't
voted
understand
yay.
the whole like consensus thing.
I
Like,
don't know how this
is
works.
also
So, okay.
what North New Jersey, Brian pressed me on. I was like, I don't get it. This was about I don't remember what it was about, but I was just talking about like just my like very insistence that like people's safety. Wait, no, it wasn't a safety issue. It was something else. God, I don't remember. I don't even remember. But it was. I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes even consensus can be like. It just feels strong arming. I don't get it.
No, we're not asking for a consensus. It's fine if you don't want to vote. We need to have at least 50%, I would say, to pass something. We need to have more than 50% to pass something. We have 4 people voted yay out of 5 people, so it passed. We could leave it at that. It does not have to be consensus. It does not. We don't need to make it overly complicated. Does anyone have a disagreement with that or a problem with that? Nomi Evans passed with 4 yays. See, there you go. See, that's
Alright.
so much easier. Okay. Anything else that anybody would like to talk about or discuss or bring up or complain about? Or whatever?
I think I am all spent.
I was spent about 3 hours ago. So I'm all fine with adjourning the meeting. So I will make the motion to adjourn the first return meeting of the NJ Solidarity Network. Or
Second.
Solidarity Network NJ, seconded. All in favor, hang up.
All in favor, get the frick out of here. Thank you all so much.
Okay,
Great
I'm gonna
meeting,
go
and
ahead.
we got a lot done. All
Oh,
right.
sorry, Mia, what? What's that, Mia?
I'm gonna go ahead and end the meeting for everyone and then publish
Sure.
the recording tomorrow.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mia.
Mia. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.